Welcome back to the show. Now, Tumi, in this masterclass, we're pretty much nailing it when it comes to budget-friendly meals.
Palesa, and this time we're making sure we're bringing that sweet tooth, because you know that a masterclass is not done with some sweetness. Eh?
Full stop. Now, dessert lovers, gather around because we have something that will surely have you begging for more. We're about to make something that includes what I like to call liquid gold. We're making golden syrup cake with caramel topping, and yes, you will definitely want seconds. Now, Chef, you do say that you love savory food, but you also have a sweet tooth.
Oh, yes, I have a sweet tooth, but when it comes to making desserts, oh, no. That's not my forte. But when it comes to eating, oh, I'm number one.
That is what I'm talking about. So, Tumi, as Chef, this might not be her forte. Can you guide us through what we need?
No, definitely, Palesa. We're having a golden syrup cake, and the base for that is the golden syrup that Chef has in front of her. And for this cake, she's going to start off by melting up some golden syrup, brown sugar, and some butter for us. So, in essence, we're using golden syrup, but making more of a syrup to actually bake into the cake. And then, Pali, I've got the responsibility of making the topping, that caramel topping. You and Chef are making the cake together. So you can actually just start on your eggs, because you're going to whisk up some eggs for us with some milk. And then we mix our wet ingredients, dry ingredients. You know how the shebang goes. I just want to get to the point where we eat this cake already.
Now, Tumi, it seems as if baking is always somewhat of a science. So how do we make sure that we get this recipe right every time?
Palesa, it always is also, like we said, making sure you mix your dry ingredients together, so like ingredients together. So you've got your wet ingredients there, which is your eggs and your milk that you're doing together. And this syrup that Chef is making is also going to go together with that liquid mixture that you're making. And in essence, it's all about timing. I know, just like Chef Sipho, I'm not much of a sweet tooth maker.
Oh,
I'm just
yeah.
a sweet tooth eater. You know, I enjoy the sweet stuff. And so it's good that we can find ways of enjoying these things and making sure we do it right. So it's all about just following the recipe.
Yes.
And just, you know, doing the portions as they say.
Okay.
That's the only thing I don't know.
Tumi, and now when it comes to making sure that the sponge of this cake is moist, is also delicious, and it's not too heavily reliant on that caramel topping, how can we make sure that that comes out perfect every time?
Which is what Chef is about to do, actually.
Oh, yes.
She's sifting the flour, because what we do, we want a sponge that's always nice and fluffy and soft, Palesa. And that's what we're doing. By doing this, you're aerating it, putting air into the flour, making it a nice, airy, fluffy sponge. And then the other thing is, because we've got all the flavors in there, we don't need to make our topping too sweet as well. I put some caramel in here that I've mixed in with some double cream. That basically mellows out the sweetness, because yes, we're talking about sweet tooth, but it shouldn't be overly sweet.
Yeah, okay. I seem to be following quite well, but don't worry, if you have just missed half of this recipe, just head over to afternoonexpress.co.za. Now, Chef Tumi and Chef Sipho have detailed quite thoroughly everything that we need, all the ingredients and the methodology as to how to get this perfect every time. So, any other very, very key and talking point that we need to remember, Tumi, when putting this?
The important thing with this golden syrup is to make sure you just dissolve the sugar. We're not trying to cook this mixture down. We're not trying to make it a thick sauce. We're just trying to make sure the sugar dissolves, and then we mix it on. So I'm actually just going to switch this off, because I see Chef's got her hands tied.
Thank you for helping me.
Only a pleasure. That's how it works in the kitchen. So once that's done, in fact, Chef, while Chef is doing that, Pali, I don't know if you want to mix this into your egg mixture, so that we can pour it all together and make...
Perfect.
Yeah, you know, teamwork.
Now, I want to make sure not to scramble these eggs. So is this...
It's a two-hand job.
It's a two-hand job. Okay.
Yes, girl. So you can keep pouring slowly as long as you keep whisking. So what you're doing is you're not giving the eggs time to coagulate with the heat from the syrup. So the more action you're yes, girl, that's exactly what's supposed to happen. And that's it. Once it reaches a certain temperature, it's no longer going to cook the eggs, because it's all now reached the
Yeah, okay, I see that. It has not scrambled my eggs at all. Everything is pretty much solid here. It's looking quite good. It's still a liquid mixture, and that's what we wanted at the end of the day. And also, the smell is definitely caramel. Okay.
So, Chef, does tempering apply to this when you do the cold and... oh, okay.
In this instance, yes, because normally what you'd want to let the syrup cool down. But because we just want to show South Africans all the steps, we want to make sure we keep it here and show all of it. So you would, in essence, you can temper, but in this instance, let it cool and then...
Okay, and then Tumi, do I put this all in? I'm so nervous. I don't want to mess up this cake.
Put it all together. Now that we are at this point, you can put your wet into your dry.
Into our
or
dry.
your dry into your wet. It's completely...
Okay, Chef, you pour and I mix. Oh,
There
wow,
you go.
just like that, Dumi.
Perfect. And the lovely thing is it's not going to be one of those recipes where you have to worry about over mixing because of the
Nah.
type of recipe it is. So we just want to fold everything together, and then that cake is going to go into the oven to bake at 180 degrees. We want to bake it for about 30 minutes, just until it's nice and golden brown. And then we're going to top it with this beautiful caramel sauce or caramel topping I've made. I'm just going to add on to
need
our
a hand?
made.
I do. It's thickening up so quickly. I never expected it. Okay, and it's so funny because I was just asked, do I work out? The answer is no, I do not work out. But essentially, this is going to come together to be that just delicious batter that we're going to put into our baking tray. And Dumi's already given us the cooking temperature.
Yes, Bali, 180 degrees for 30 minutes. Your cake comes out, you put this beautiful topping on it after it's cooled. But I'm going to just add a bit more into this cake here.
Thank you so much, Dumza. Now, even the tooth fairy will be willing to trade in her sweet tooth for this recipe. So join her and head over to afternoonexpress.co.za for the full ingredients and recipe list. Now, dessert is just so nice. We are definitely making it twice. We've got a bread pudding with meringue headed your way when we return.